Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Coconut Show. AEW's WWE pay-per-view just ended about an hour or so ago. Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose came out and started beating up a little bit of Chris Jericho, and then the rest was Kenny Omega. So, looks like the next pay-per-view, maybe Friday the following something, it's going to be like Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. But they're throwing shade to WWE as well with the sledgehammer hitting the throne, blowing up the throne. A couple of things with Bret Hart coming out. And I think a couple of things in the tag match. And there was like a couple spots, like the whole thing with El Generico, which is Sami Zayn moves, a couple of botched stuff, and a couple of shade throwing to WWE for sure tonight. That was great freaking stuff. I was like popping hard for all that. It was great stuff. I like popped so hard when Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley came out. It was unbelievable. But also WWE wrestlers keeping their voices silent on this, but some of them are expressing their voices. Like Bayley put, "I love professional wrestling." You know, on the night of AEW Double or Nothing. Then you have Sasha Banks basically expressing her voice because she's not wrestling. She's still signed with WWE. It says this is a WWE Sasha Banks, but wrestling. She put two tweets: wrestling heart. And then she put, "I love wrestling." Then she put, I love Awesome Kong." Awesome Kong, because she came out on Double or Nothing tonight in the Brett Baker, Kylie Ray, and Nyla Rose. She came out because Brandy Rose was like, "I want this match to be great. I want this match to be awesome." Kind of like a thing, like, you know, the mid awesome. And all of a sudden, Awesome Kong comes out. She put, I love Awesome Kong." Then she put, "Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations on ladies wrestling." She put, like, "Congratulations for women's wrestling for all the great Japan matches." They had, like, that bunch of Japan ladies fighting. And then the Brett Baker match, she put, "Congratulations, women's wrestling." She's been tweeting all about it. She put something like, "I love professional wrestling," or "Great night for wrestling," or something like that. So she's been making a voice heard about AEW for sure tonight. Renee Young, I guess, doesn't have a Twitter anymore, apparently, but she went on Instagram. She took to the gram, and she put her just, like, looking at her cat. She looks like she's in her living room looking at her cat, because I know she lives in Vegas. Yeah, so like, she put a thing on her cat, looks like she's in the living room in Vegas. Then she put, once Moxley came out, she put "looky eye," like I like that, one like that, with fire. You know, she's doing to her husband Jon Moxley. There's a lot, and then of course, there's a tweet. So then he put two parenthesis quotes. He put "react," something about wrestling, or "good night" for react. Big E just put "react," and "react" twice in his tweet. Knowing that, but if some dirty stars put, like, AEW in their tweets, they'll probably get, like, something from Vince or a text, "Why'd you tweet that?" Blah blah, or from, like, John, what's his name? Cohen, or what's his name? Cohen or something like that. Whatever. John Cohen, or dude, what's his name, man? I don't know, the talents guy, isn't it, like John or something Cohen or something like that? I don't know. Mark Carano, there you go, Mark Carano. Probably like, "Why'd you put that?" Blah 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 blah. I mean, but he just put. We already know what it was, and there somebody put, like, a GIF of, like, because if you guys didn't know, Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods had a battle in a video game battle. I think it was like Street Fighter or something, and there's, like, a GIF of, like, Kenny Omega all happy and looking at Xavier. That was great, fiery stuff. He just put "react." He put something like about wrestling, "react." Our great good luck to you guys, something "react," and blah blah. He just put react twice. Which we know he meant AEW. Like, a lot of wrestlers are expressing their voices. Some don't really care; they're just doing their own thing. But WWE stars are expressing their voices tonight about AEW. This is literally AEW tonight was like retro wrestling. Literally had like after air type feel ECW. Very retro. The ring was very retro. Like from WCW days when the ring was gray. Now they had like the gray, whatever you call it, the mat or tarp or what do you call it? The ring canvas. It's great. It said AEW on it, and they had some double or nothing, small little double or nothing signs on the side. Then some AEW signs on the side. And they had some legendary referees. They had oh dude, what's no? Oh dude, they had the TNA legend. Oh I think he did the Cody match. Earl Hebner did the Cody match versus Dustin. Earl Hebner, legendary. The announcer was great. I mean, it'll probably be cool if they actually took Lillian Garcia. If they took Lillian Garcia, that would be huge. But they didn't. Because Lillian Garcia now has a deal. She's an in-cage announcer for Professional Fighters League. But if they would have took Lillian Garcia, that would have been huge for AEW. If they got Lillian Garcia as their announcer to announce his matches, that would have been sick. But she's the in-cage announcer. Or she announces the fighters for in-cage announcer. She announces the fighters for Professional Fight League. They just had the show on Thursday. That was pretty big. I watched a little bit of it. She's pretty cool announcing the fighters. But they would have got her. But it looks like maybe Jerry the King Lawler might be joining JR Jim Ross, and maybe Excalibur might leave or something like that. But JR Jim Ross might, or not JR Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler might join JR Jim Ross in AEW. I think his contract's up or something. People are saying he might be joining. Like, I think he might just be going to Saudi Arabia and leaving and then all this stuff. This is great. Freaking stuff. Like that was huge. Awesome Kong came out. Like I said, some big WWE old stars like I said, John Moxley, Ambrose came out at the end right of the match, and then when what's his name? Chris Jericho's cutting his promo, and Chris. Oh, and also another WWE shade. They took shade to WWE with the list of Jericho. I don't know if WWE owns the rights to that, but they took a thing of the list of Jericho. It's a list of Jericho on it. It must have been a guy. It wasn't like a wrestler. It wasn't like actual wrestler in the back. It was just maybe like somebody in the back that they know had the list. He was staring at the list, and then they shut the lights off again. And there was a guy wearing his light up jacket. Then Chris Jericho came out to Judah, or whatever it's called, Judah Priest, or something like that. The song. So that was pretty huge. That was some huge stuff. Another shade to WWE. Great stuff from all his career, and he looked very retro to me when he came out. He had the hat and all, the scarf, but he looked very retro. Chris Jericho, ponytail head, just the pants and the boots. Just looked very retro. He didn't go like when he had the Intercontinental Championship match or the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match with like the freaking like star. It looked like a cross around his eyes. He didn't have like no face, man. Just very retro, Chris Jericho-esque. I freaking loved it. Great card from top to bottom. Literally the pre-show, Adam Page won. He was a surprise because he even put I think on Twitter on being the elite. Oh, I'm not gonna be that I'm injured, and he came in injured. He did come in injured in the Battle Royal. But he won. No CM Punk, because CM Punk does CFFC or something like that, whatever it's called. That like indie, not me to me it's not big. It's on a UFC Fight Pass MMA thing. He was in Palm Springs. And when he tweeted that, people thought like, oh, you're in Vegas, because they thought it was a desert in Vegas, but it was Palm Springs. It was literally Palm Springs. Palm Springs is a desert. I live close to Palm Springs. I live in the Inland Empire in California, so I'm a Young Bucks fan because Inland Empire is close to Rancho Cucamonga, so I know all about it. They are going to do tour based. They even said AEW is going to be tour based. What's his name? Cody said it. It's going to be tour based. It's not going to be like TNA where it's just one, like in Orlando, Florida, or NXT where it's in Florida. It's going to be tour based. It's going to be going all around and being tour based, which is going to be great. So I know they invaded Raw that one day. The Bullet Club invaded Raw in Ontario, California. I know the Young Bucks look close to Ontario, so maybe they might have seen AEW in Ontario or some part of California. That would be insane. I would definitely be going. If they come to California, I'll be definitely getting my ticket for AEW, because I'm telling you, man, they're taking over. I don't know if they're going to be taking over, but they definitely put a statement on the map for pro wrestling. I'm not saying they're just taking away WWE shine. They're not taking away like New Japan shine, Ring of Honor shine, 'cause that's still great. That's like That's like AEW's bread and butter before AEW was AEW. Was Ring of Honor, New Japan, and some of those indie stuff. But they're just taking away WWE shine. They're really putting WWE on the map because WWE is just sports entertainment. All I've seen lately, WWE, they have a couple matches. They're decent matches. All I see is more microphone based with WWE now. Just talking, cutting promos, doing this, talking about their storylines. That's all I've been seeing. Like, the wrestling is subpar now at this point. Like, Money in the Bank was great, but I think this took Money in the Bank a little over. I think, yes, the match of the night for Money in the Bank was the men's ladder match. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles was great. I thought Jericho versus what's his name? Versus Kenny Omega, sorry about that, was like AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. That was a great match from top to bottom. That match kind of failed, but literally just a great card. I thought this was better than Money in the Bank, besides the men's ladder match, and the Bayley cash-in was great too. But great stuff. So I think that's for watching. Let's really go. Let me you guys think about all the rest. WWE starts making their voices heard with these tweets about AEW, or just throwing some shade, but not really putting AEW in their tweet. But they know it's going towards AEW, like Bayley saying I love pro wrestling, and then Sasha Banks wrestling, Awesome Kong, congratulations, lady wrestlers, all this and that, and like, you know, Big E's throwing shade with he putting react instead of putting AEW, because they know what's coming up. And I'm gonna look at other wrestlers' tweets. Those are just some I saw. I haven't gone through all the wrestlers on the roster, but then you saw Randy Orton put up a picture of a small mini me looking version of what looked like a small mini me of like AJ Styles at StarCast 2. So maybe he was at StarCast 2. I don't know. I think that was on Instagram. So a lot of shade and a lot of stuff thrown at WWE tonight, and also WWE wrestlers taking note about it, and also making the voice heard. Nothing yet from Triple H, or nothing yet from Vince or anything like that. Shane, Stephanie, none of those people. But if they're really taking shade, they only taking shade at Vince and Triple H, and then WWE pretty much. But I've been hearing that Vince wants to focus more with Oliver Luck on XFL. Oliver Luck is the commissioner of the XFL, and he wants to focus more on that. So he might be taking off of the wrestling stuff and having maybe Shane or Stephanie take over the reins, and Triple H doing his. I know Triple H is watching for sure, trying to scope out some of these AEW people to maybe come to NXT, scanning out the talent. But if they do a war, I don't want to see AEW versus WWE. I want to see AEW versus NXT if they do a war, because that would be two of the best. Because NXT have the best out there with AEW, best indie wrestling talent out there. And I feel like if they're going to do it, they should literally do NXT versus AEW. If they're going to do a war, because people are saying once Cody did the sledgehammer thing, it's a war against WWE. I feel like if they're going to do it, they should do NXT versus WWE, NXT UK versus AEW, and NXT versus AEW. I would like to see that NXT UK and NXT do a war against AEW, not WWE, because they're just indie guys. They're not big names that we all know. But we know a good majority or a chunk of the people in AEW, but not a lot. So if they're gonna do it, I think they should do NXT and NXT UK versus AEW. If they're gonna do a war, at least NXT versus AEW. They're gonna do a war, not WWE. That's in my opinion, but I know NXT is WWE. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, favorite. Let me know what you guys think about all these wrestlers making their voices heard on Twitter about AEW tonight. Let me know in the comments. Love you guys all. See you guys next time.